What happened when someone passed away before Jesus died for us? Questions about human destiny during any age of human history intrigue us as we consider our own mortality and eternal destiny. Friends, welcome to Bible Words. I'm Pastor Dave, your host, and I want to thank you. If we want to really find answers to our deepest questions, we can find them in God's Bible words. Thanks for tuning in as we answer this very powerful question about God's plan for mankind's destiny. The focus of our question is on the where people, that is, where did their eternal souls go at death before Jesus' resurrection? Well, the simple and single answer is they went to an afterlife place called Sheol, a place of self-conscious existence. You see, in the Old Testament, when people died, they were said to go to Sheol, which refers to the place of the dead, basically. Next, until the individual final eternal destiny is processed by God's final judgment, the righteous and the wicked all went to Sheol, sort of a holding place for human souls. Here are a few Old Testament references to that fact. First, in Psalm 9, it says, "The wicked will return to Sheol, even all the nations who forget God." Psalm 83, similar thing. "For my soul has had enough troubles and my life is drawn near to Sheol." He's afraid of dying. Proverbs 5:5, "Her feet go down to death, her steps take hold of Sheol." Again, a reference to death. So Sheol, the place of the dead, is where all souls of every dead person went prior to Jesus' resurrection. Why? Well, no one could go into heaven, into God the Father's actual holy presence, until after Jesus' sacrifice had paid the price of justice for their sins. In fact, even Jesus went to Sheol at his death on the cross. Here's a prophetic psalm predicting his death and resurrection. Psalm 16. David writes, "For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, and nor will you allow your Holy One, that is the body, to undergo decay." It was Jesus who expands our understanding of Sheol by telling a story about two men, one righteous and the other wicked, that died. In Luke 16, he says, "Now Lazarus died and was carried away by the angels to Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried in Hades. He lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and saw Abraham far away and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried out and said, 'Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus so that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool off my tongue, for I am in agony in this flame.' But Abraham said, 'Between us and you, there's a great chasm fixed, so that those who wish to come over from here to you will not be able, and that none may cross over from there to us.'" So what do we learn from Jesus' story here? Well, not only did both righteous and wicked go to Sheol, this holding place for souls, we find out that it was divided into two polar opposite areas. Abraham's bosom in Sheol was a place of comfort for the righteous, and Hades was a place of judgment for the wicked, all a part of Sheol with a barrier of some sort placed between the arenas by God. Later, dying on the cross, Jesus gives us a second name for Abraham's bosom in his promise to the repentant criminal hanging by his side on the cross. And this guy was saying, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." And he said to him, "Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." It's found in Luke 23. Well, after Jesus' resurrection, which was God's divine affirmation that Jesus' sacrifice had indeed been accepted as payment for our sin, now the saints of the ages were now qualified to be in God's glorious presence and in his holiness. So after his resurrection, Jesus ascended to heaven, taking all the saints in paradise, that part of Sheol, with him into heaven. Paul explains that in Ephesians 4. When he ascended on high, he led captive a host of captives. Now this expression, he ascended, what does it mean? Except that he descended is himself also who ascended far above all the heavens so that he might fill all things. So now Sheol is half empty. Only the wicked from before Christ's coming and since Christ's resurrection to this very day remain in that place of the dead. Now, our place of death has dramatically changed for the good. When we die, God's holy angels escort our spirit, our eternal personhood, much probably like they did for Lazarus that we read about, through Satan's kingdom of darkness, immediately into God's presence and his kingdom of light. So because of that, this is why Paul could say emphatically in 2 Corinthians 5, to be absent from the body is to be at home with the Lord. Folks, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share Bible words with your friends, and let us know your questions so that we can look into the Bible to find out what the Bible has to say about your question. Thanks again. See you next week.